That's interesting that your third one you actually had the most likability for.
Yeah, I know. I think it's just that idea of if there was no like judgment, what would you do? And I'm like, huh, okay. I just leaned into the signature strengths that we were looking at. And I was like, okay, something where I can learn stuff, something where I can be curious and explore ideas, where I can be kind of creative.
It's good to be back. I like what you've done with the place.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked hard on it.
Wow. I wonder if this podcast will look like this in about 5 years' time, Aiden. I really wonder.
That is a good question, Evan. One
Yeah.
often wonders about what one's life would look like in 5 years.
To the day.
Exactly, to the day.
Depends on leap years, if it's an extra 1 or 2 days. But don't worry about that. Today, what we did for your listening enjoyment, not you, Aiden, the listeners' listening enjoyment.
It actually
but you
could
can enjoy
be
it too.
no extra days if you get a leap year that's every like 100th leap year or every 100th year, because then you skip the leap day.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Not important.
That won't happen again till like 2100.
Okay, we're good. Unless this episode comes out really late. But let's hope it doesn't.
Maybe.
Today, we did these things that Aiden discovered, which are 5-year Odyssey plans. Aiden, do you want to explain these a little bit, what they're all about and where you found them and stuff?
I would love to, Evan.
Excellent.
Nice. So I found these when I was reading a book called Design Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
And this book is based off of a course taught at a university. I think
Yale.
It was Stanford.
Oh.
Yale was the happiness course.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and Stanford was the course for this one. And basically, it's two guys, and they teach a way to design your life to try and create the best life for yourself using design principles, or the principles of design. So it goes through the same process of if you were designing a project or a new poster or any of that kind of stuff, and taking that kind of theory and applying it to your own life. The idea is it kind of starts out with ideation, which is just making as many ideas as possible, brainstorming, finding the facts, all that jazz, and then creating a bunch of prototypes, testing shit out, and then eventually sticking with something.
So like throwing a bunch of shit at the wall, and whatever sticks, you refine it into a diamond.
Yeah, exactly. And then you kind of keep on doing that as you need to.
Okay.
So that's what we are more or less doing today with these Odyssey plans. And the name The Odyssey is, I believe, a reference to The Odyssey.
Of ancient Greek fame.
No, I think that was one of those like American plays or something. I don't know.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one. The remake.
Yeah, the remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the original.
But yeah, the idea is just to create a plan for your life for the next 5 years. Sorry, not to create a plan for your life. That's wrong. That is the wrong idea.
One plan. Only one plan. Who does that?
People who aren't designing their lives.
I know, right?
Yeah, you can't just stick to your one plan. With the Odyssey plans, you create 3 plans.
Ooh, that's like 2 more plans.
Exactly. And to be honest, in my opinion, for a proper design process, you really need more than 3. But
really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's really interesting, because people who have not had any formal education in design, I would say usually the first thing anyone does is just come up with a plan, just one, and if something goes wrong, we'll just figure it out from there. You know?
No, that is generally wrong because, and I don't know if I'm quoting the book here or just my general design knowledge. Basically, your first idea is usually just the first thing that comes to mind that'll work. So that,
like, most obvious one.
Yeah, exactly. It's most obvious, and it's generally just like kind of the easiest one in a lot of ways, in that you don't have to do a lot more creative work of coming up with newer or more innovative ideas.
Yeah.
It's like how if you ever want to comment on a YouTube video or something, the moment you scroll down, you'll see like 20 other people who've posted the exact same comment because it's the first thing that came to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not original. So generally, like with the titles of our episodes, I try and write out like 20 to 30 before I accept one.
Holy.
Sometimes it's like the first or second one. I'm like, oh yeah, that one's still good. But other times it takes
Just
that
to be
long.
sure.
Yeah.
It's like the 17th one. You're like, this is it.
That often happens. Yeah. Because it's just after I've gotten enough of the shit ideas out of my head, just something clicks.
Basically, the points of these 3 plans, each one. There's like the first one is the, like what you're saying, just like the most obvious, sort of the easiest, like the one that you're pretty much already following.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
there's 2 after. The first one after is you described it as, if you, for whatever reason, you can't do the original plan, what's sort of like not your backup, I guess, but like just alternative.
Yeah, exactly. So say you want to be like a lawyer or some shit, but then everybody in the world decides that lawyers are just kind of full of shit and that they don't need them. They'll be able to just settle their arguments themselves.
Yeah.
They don't need them. They're just going to write legal documents that are
Trials of
legible.
strength.
True. Could go back to that. So, okay, all the lawyers disappear. What would you do with your life then? Don't think too hard about the consequences for society about your entire profession disappearing.
Don't worry about it. This is not the point of the exercise.
Just pick something else, assuming nothing else in the world changes but that.
Or you could write a really nice science fiction novel with the results. But
that's true. That could work as well. So maybe your second one's an author then.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, and then the third one is just, if you lived basically in an ideal world and like people's opinions and money didn't sway you at all, just like, what would you do? So do you want to say the name of your first one and then give it, like, explain a bit? Part of the instructions here were, it specifically said that each one had to have a 6-letter name. I don't know why 6 letters, but maybe they're just poetry fans. I don't know.
I have no idea.
6 words, 6-word name, not 6
yeah, 6 letters.
That'd be so specific. Purple. That's the name.
My first plan. Apple.
Yeah.
Z.
Apples.
So my first plan is entitled Independent Content Creator, YouTube and Podcasts.
Okay.
So the idea of it is to continue with a lot of the stuff I've got going here on the podcast and in my classes. So over the 5 years, I would first take a year to finish the diploma I'm doing. That's a common theme across all of my plans.
Yeah.
And to get a lot of experience at an internship and to finally like make a proper YouTube channel. And then spend probably 2 to 5 years. I guess if it's only a 4-year or 5-year plan, it'd be 2 to 4 years trying to work in some kind of media creation or at a company where I can deal with a lot of either making that stuff directly or organizing it.
Being a brand's Twitter man and just tweeting savage things.
Yeah, that would be it. And then try and transition that eventually to full-time content creation.
That makes sense. We are creating content right now.
That we are.
So you're on your way.
Exactly. Yeah, we just need a few more patrons on Patreon.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, content creation, YouTube, and
I wrote down YouTube and podcast because that's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
That's what seems good to me.
Not TikTok.
I don't know, man. Place seems like the freaking Wild West from what I've heard.
Actually, it kind of does.
Copyright isn't a thing. There's just random children making videos.
Yeah. No, that was a joke. Definitely do not do TikTok.
Man, a lot of brands are getting in on it, though.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a massive audience now.
Huh. I still actively object. Like, there's no way right now that I would make a TikTok account.
Same here, but I mean, eventually, maybe, if I see some reason to.
If the content gets like notched up a few ways, and you're like, damn, that's actually good stuff.
No, what you have to do is notch up the content yourself. Get on there to
if you have amazing
to dominate.
Ideas
exactly.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I see.
but I have no idea how the service works, so I'd probably have to watch some of them or something first, which sounds like it would destroy several brain cells. I don't know.
You just do this a lot.
That is a fantastic description for the audio podcast.
That's yeah. Every single TikTok, it's just yeah, that's it. I hope you guys can see this because the entire joke hinges on the fact that you see the motion I'm doing with my hands. So if you can't, then it's kind of spoiled.
Yeah, but if you guys can see it, or if you can imagine
Just
Evan
imagine,
doing,
you can just listen to the tone of my voice right now. Ooh, there you go. That tells you all you need. That's how you do a TikTok.
yeah, just imagine every TikTok dance you've ever seen, and then imagine Evan, and that's what's happening right now in the Zoom call.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm tired from all this dancing. Uh,
Well, that's too bad, Evan, because you gotta persevere. It's time for
oh
your
no.
first Odyssey plan.
Okay, so my first Odyssey plan, I called it Original Recipe for Saving the Trees because I'm kind of hungry and I was thinking of fried chicken, but also environmental science and the like
Mhm.
conservation work are sort of the trajectory I'm on right now. So that would involve in 2022, I'll graduate from Bachelor of Science, and then I would want to work for a bit with either silviculture, which is forestry,
Mhm.
or working with animal conservation, like monitoring populations and being some sort of wildlife technician like that. And I would do that, see what was available, and then if I wanted, I might go back and do grad work, but I'm definitely not doing it right as soon as I graduate. I want to see what's out there in the world for me.
Okay.
Preferably do some jobs where I can travel around a lot, with either around Canada or just the world, and do stuff like that. That's kind of the plan. Save the trees and or animals right now.
Nice. Yeah. I've heard you say that a few times now, but yeah, it's still a good plan. Still solid.
Sort of sadly, it looks like there will be a need for that when I graduate.
Yeah,
So
hopefully when you graduate, there will be no need for that and you will be completely
yeah,
unemployable. That would
yeah.
be
This
ideal.
is the field I'm going into is strange because we're actively trying to eliminate the need for us. That's sort of the whole deal.
That's true. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. It's like ads for that one dating app where it's like, our goal is that you delete this app because you've
Oh,
found the
yeah,
love
I
of your
saw
life.
those.
It's the same sort of thing. Our goal is that we're eventually out of a job because there's no need to save the environment. It's all good.
The environment's just fine and never needs saving again.
Definitely some like field work, at least while I'm young. Maybe transition into like lab or managing or something like that when I'm
Mhm.
older. But I definitely want stuff, when I don't have kids and I'm not arthritic and whatnot. I want to, go outside and travel around to all these different places and see what kind of trees and animals and stuff they got around.
Just check
Um,
them out.
yeah, just be like, wow, look at that rock. Well, that's a good day's work. Okay, I'm back.
Nice.
Yeah,
And you can go around with your like scrapbook of leaves.
yeah,
They're all
exactly.
like wax pressed or whatever.
That's it. That's the one. So that would probably be some sort of government or quasi-governmental organization, which I have worked for. So I could move back in there. I'll see what's around when I graduate. But yeah, that pretty much sums up original recipe for saving the trees.
Interesting. In the little worksheet they gave us for the Odyssey planning, they did also have like a couple of, what do you call them? Dashboards or things like, the little thing that says how much gas is in your tank, the little arrow thing?
Yeah, yeah.
They had like four of those to indicate kind of how you're feeling or what you think about the plan.
You have resources, likability, confidence, and coherence.
Yeah. How do you think you'd rate that plan on all of those?
Okay, for this plan, I would say, do I have, so for resources, it says, do you have the objective resource, so time, money, skill, contacts? For resources, I would say like 85
Okay.
because it's pretty much the trajectory I'm on right now. And the 15% is just because I haven't done it yet. So like I don't know.
Is resources just like, do you have the money to do it?
Well, time, money, skill, and content.
Ah, okay.
Definitely got the time. I mean, I should have the money to finish my degree. Contacts I have, and then skills the one that we just need to see. So
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah. How would you rate yours for resources?
For that one, I guess including things like content and skill, I might give it a, this feels kind of low, but maybe like a 65.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess because with content creation too, there is a large element of other people involved. Like other people have to like it.
Yeah,
Not there
exactly.
isn't just you and an employer, more than just a two-person relationship.
Yeah, because I mean, part of the plan is working and doing stuff so I could get the money, but then eventually transitioning to creating your own stuff. That is a big question mark in terms of finances and skills and time, I guess, if I'd have time to like slowly build something up while working a full-time job. So
Huh.
there's a lot of question marks there.
Okay. And then likability is the next one. I would say like 95%. I think I would enjoy this. That's all I'm gauging it on.
Fair enough. I think that's all you can do this on.
hmm
I give mine like an 80. Pretty good.
Okay. And then confidence is the next one, which I
Yeah.
sort of put in resources because like my confidence is based off what resources I think I have to complete it. I would say confidence 80%. Just just because.
Yeah, my confidence is quite low for this one just cuz I mean there's so many unknowns and
Yeah.
variables, so I put it at like a 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
Conservative estimate. And then coherence, it says brackets, does the plan make sense and is it consistent with you, your work view, and your life view? I'll say 75% because it makes sense with my work view and life view and whatever, but I don't have it entirely planned out yet. So like 70 to 75%. Like I have like a rough outline, but like I don't know specifically where I would apply or like
Mhm.
specifically what ecosystem I'd work with or something like that.
Yeah, no, the coherence for mine is quite low as well. That's a theme in a lot of my plans is just saying like, "Oh yeah, and then I guess I'll just get a job or something."
guess I'll just guess I'll just make money somehow.
Yeah, just somehow. Not that I've ever done much of that, but I just assume that it can happen somehow if I were to start applying myself. So I put the coherence at 50% again. Cuz like get
Oh,
some
okay.
kind of internship, get some kind of job, make some kind of content that people will like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it needs a lot more fleshing in it.
I feel like my confidence is based off like resources and coherence.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay. So then those are our first plans. Those are most likely, nah, not even most likely, where we think right now we'll end up.
Yeah, that is kind of the current trajectory of our lives. But now we get into different plans.
Wow, that first plan made me thirsty. Good thing I had this water here. Um, what have you called your second plan?
I called my second plan getting into the code, computer science.
Holy, somebody's been watching some Matrix.
I have been actually considering rewatching it. It keeps on popping up in my like
Mm.
feeds on I think it's
No, that
Netflix.
person's me. I'm actually rewatching the Matrix right now.
Oh shit.
Didn't expect that. Ha.
Man, we live in a simulation. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that I've always kind of thought that I would be really good at coding. I don't know too much of it. I know a little like basic HTML and CSS. And I
Yeah.
guess I took that one course in C and did
Yeah.
quite well. I've always been like naturally
A
decent at the
computer.
basics of it. Yeah. And
Oh,
at computer in general,
yeah.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I'm good at like building computers, doing like minor repairs on
Oh, you
stuff.
did. Yeah, you did build your own.
Yeah, I've built two.
Are you using your built one right now?
Yes, I am.
Ooh.
It's got all sorts of glowing lights in it, so you know I'm a gamer.
Okay.
I don't really game much, alas. But anyways, the moral of the story, I've enjoyed computers, and I've always thought that I would be good at programming.
Yeah.
So if there were no content creation jobs, I would probably go and do some coding.
All that knowledge would be useful for content creation too, because you'd need to use computers for all of it. So then, like, if you can repair and sort of build your own for your specific specs you need, as well as like if you need to make a website and do some
Yep.
HTML for that, for like whatever content you're making.
It's like they always say, learn to code. It's useful for everybody. Or at least people were saying that. I think that got like banned or censored on a lot of platforms. People saying learn to code.
Why?
It was just, I think, if I'm remembering it right, interpreted as like hate speech or something.
What? Learn to code, you devil.
Yeah, I think it was just during like the Great Depression when everybody was unemployed. People were just going around saying, "Just learn to code."
People coded in the 30s?
Great Recession.
Oh, Great Recession. I heard Great Depression. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about?
I may have said depression. I thought I said the recession though.
Okay, Great Recession. Okay, fair enough. In Ontario, they recently put new curriculum into elementary school to learn financing and coding.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, so that's pretty much all you've got to say for your simulation.
The little bit of year by year I have in here is, of course, finish the diploma, do an
Yes.
internship in web design, and then I was thinking I might do like a computer programmer diploma, do like one of those 2-year jobbies or something
Oh, okay.
to like
Wait, I
flesh
assume
out the skills.
your last path also involved finishing the diploma, right?
It did, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember
All of
if
the
you said.
paths finish the diploma. I have like 10 months left. I'm going for it.
That would be very silly to not to not finish it at less than a year.
Very much so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm almost halfway through now. So definitely finish it. And I figure if I really wanted to do computer programming, another diploma or something is only like 2 years and not too much money because it's college. So that would probably be useful, or some kind of like grad certificate. I don't think you really need like a full-on degree for programming. I mean, maybe might eventually be helpful, but
I feel like programming is one of those things where it's like they might like practical knowledge might be better than qualifications per se.
yeah, like maybe if you wanted to work for the bank or something, they might be like, "Ooh, a degree." But other than that,
If you're working for Elon Musk, he'll be like, whatever, man.
I don't
Can
even
you?
care. Get
Yeah.
out of here with your degrees.
Degree? Ew, stinky. I don't want that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can see how that would be sort of like your stable plan because obviously IT is always coming up. So is content, but
Well, it probably wouldn't be like IT.
yeah, no, not that sort of thing. But
Yeah, it'd be more so
working
programming with, I don't even know what exactly. Some kind of
a
like
computer
startup
probably.
app, website, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Something freaking neat, you know?
that seems pretty solid. Okay, and then my plan, I called it the alternative extra crispy life plan because
Ooh.
I still
Okay.
want some food. But this is the alternative. So originally, the prompt you said for the second one, off of recording, this is off the record. You were like, so if basically, if the environment was saved and so there's no need to work with that anymore, then what would you do? And I'm assuming this includes like all similar jobs because if that was the case, then
Yeah.
it'd just be like, oh well, I'd just be a biologist, and so I could just study it instead and do like the same thing. But that's like too similar. It's a little unimaginative, which I
Mhm.
don't think is the point of this exercise.
Exactly.
So the first thing after that I sort of thought of was like some sort of physics or math because that's what I originally went to school for, as you know,
Yeah.
was to be a physicist. And that would still be interesting. Well, like I think I could do it. Like I think I would be pretty all right at it, just working physics, but it doesn't have much variety in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I wouldn't want the sort of job that you're just like doing the same thing for days,
Mm.
just like it doesn't seem like a fit for my personality, you know?
Is that not what you're kind of doing right now? Like going around and getting the mosquitoes and whatnot?
Well, this is a nice job, but I don't plan on doing it forever. Don't
That's a
tell
good point.
don't
Yeah.
tell anyone. Well, not necessarily. I guess not doing the same, but like being in a room trying to figure out a problem or like come up with an experiment and then spending months like designing an experiment and testing it and then analyzing the results and writing a paper. Each of those steps would take like so long,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
feel like it would get really boring. So I wouldn't want to do that. So I was thinking maybe it would be more like this is sort of the opposite of you. Your first one
Mhm.
is like sort of the creative side, and the second one is sort of more, I don't know, what would feel like functional side, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, mine's
Yeah.
sort of the opposite. So because I figured I would do something sort of creative, like maybe be an author or something
Mm.
like that.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
Just because then that would still give me reasons to like travel around the world, see all these different places, learn all these different things, and I could just write it in a book
Hmm.
or books, I guess.
Just
All the
one.
Yeah, just a really big book.
Just spend your life like in complete and utter poverty writing this one book, but when you do finally publish it, man, it's
Good
gonna be
book.
great.
Everyone will be like, "Hey, this is a pretty good book." So I figure author because then that sort of builds itself around your lifestyle. You
Mm.
know, it's sort of like you living your life and experiencing stuff comes first, and
Hmm.
then whatever you do is reflected, and like whatever you do and think and experience is reflected sort of in your writing.
Hmm.
So that seemed like a nice time. Yeah, as we'll see when we're going through the like confidence levels and whatever,
Yeah.
there's pretty much nothing I have in place for but anyway, yeah, that's the alternative extra crispy life plan. So yeah, let's go through I guess the gauges right now for our plan number 2.
All right. So for mine, for resources, I put that at 100 because, oh, I guess if I include contacts and things, then it wouldn't be 100. I was just thinking financial resources. I have the resources to go get a job and make money. Including contacts and things, honestly, I feel like I have the resources. Let's throw it at like a 90.
Okay.
I feel pretty
So
good about that. In terms of I like it, honestly, depending on where I would end up working or what exactly I'd end up doing, I could put it pretty high. Like it could be pretty fun.
mhm.
I might toss it at like a 75, which is just like slightly below the other one.
Okay.
Because I think it'd be pretty good. The confidence, I feel like I could do this one. I might put that one at like 75. And coherence, well, I keep on saying like I'll just go get a job or do a thing,
Yeah.
which is something that I constantly do. But I
Step
feel like
1,
this is
get a job.
slightly more coherent than the other one.
Yeah, there's loads of places where it's like, "Hey, where can I work as a like computer programmer?" Oh, this place, this place, this place, and this place.
Yeah, it seems like
So,
you could just work most anywhere. So I feel like the coherence, I'll toss it up higher. I'll give it another 75.
okay. So mine's pretty different here.
Okay.
Mine for resources, time, money, skill, contacts. I feel like this would take more time and money of not getting paid time, I mean, and I have no contacts, so I'd say resources like 40%. And like I haven't taken any classical training, so it would just be like, I don't know. I can read and write English.
There you go.
Likability, I think it would be like probably like 75%
Hmm.
as well. Not trying to copy, but I would like being able to live my lifestyle however I want, sort of unrestrained, just centering around like one specific like creative outlet. One thing I don't think I'd like is being at the mercy of consumers. Just like, geez, I hope people
Hmm.
like this book. Otherwise, I make no money that I spent like months making. So that's why it's not like higher.
Hmm.
But I think 75%. Confidence, I think also like 40% because I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And coherence, uh, coherence third. No, I'll say 50% because I know a lot what I would write about, I guess. But just
Okay.
the steps past actually having a book to it being in a store, there's a lot of steps that I
Hmm.
absolutely do not know.
That's true.
So,
And you could probably learn about it in like a couple hours of YouTube videos.
a wiki how to publish a book.
They have WikiHows on everything, so I'm sure it would be there and very useful and very helpful.
They have WikiHows on crazier stuff.
That they do.
How to
WikiHow
raise
is
a
a weird
donkey.
place.
Yeah. There was one, how to make people think you have secret ice powers. I think that's word for word what it's called. Which
I
is good
gotta
because,
check it real quick.
like, I was wondering how to do that.
Okay, there are two of them.
Oh,
They have how to pretend to have ice powers,
okay.
and they have 3 ways to pretend to have ice powers in brackets for girls.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh. If you're a guy, no ice powers for you.
Oh, well, you could just do the first one if you're a guy.
Yeah, but that's only one way, not 3 ways.
Step 1, learn about ice and snow.
What's ice all about, man?
Every person who has ice powers has to know about the ice and snow and wintertime.
Duh, if you're like, I have ice powers, and then someone's like, oh yeah, what's snow? You'd be like, shit.
Oh my god, so the first part is just learning about snow and watching movies, and then you have to dress up right, and then you have to act the part.
What do you dress like? Like, in a big coat?
Just winter colors
White?
or like blue. Yeah.
Ah,
I don't know if it would be a big coat because if you have ice powers, you might be resistant to the cold, so you might not need a big coat.
true.
So you'd be like Elsa, just wearing a dress kind of thing, or just like
That's why it's for girls. You have to wear that dress.
that's true. That's true.
But actually, no, this isn't.
No, this one isn't
This
for
one isn't
girls.
just for girls. So,
And then part 3 is acting the part, which I mean, the
Ooh.
first of that is pretend to be practicing your powers,
this is a logical progression. Yeah.
holding your hand straight out at a faucet or a cup of water when you know someone's about to walk in the room.
People are definitely gonna think you're having a stroke.
Possibly.
It'd be like you just like have your hand straight out, motionless, just staring into space. Are you okay? Are you having an episode?
Or dip your hands into a cup of freezing cold water or under cold water so that when someone grabs your hands, they're going to feel cold.
Ooh. And they'll be like, man, you have really bad circulation.
Yeah, and then when they ask why, you just say, "Oh, no reason at all," and then just run away.
How to get your friends and family to think that you have increasingly worse health issues.
Yeah, also just spend a lot of time alone in your room and stay in cold temperatures.
Wow, that sounds super fun.
Oh, and practice your singing.
Wait, what? Why?
Because your voice has to be as beautiful as winter itself, Evan. Duh.
Ah, okay. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, but don't sing too much, or people will think that you're just trying to show others how good at singing you are.
And not trying to show them how much ice powers you have. That's the what you're trying to do. You're not trying to show them you're singing. You just need to be a good singer.
Oh, and here's the key. You have to glance at your hands every time you're watching a movie when someone has ice powers.
As you do pretty much every day.
Yeah.
I watch X-Men 3 pretty much every single day, and whenever that dude with ice powers comes on, I just like stare at my palms like I just dropped acid. And everyone's like, Evan, do you have ice powers?
Someone asked a question in the comments, can I be born with ice powers? And the wiki staff is coming in here saying, unfortunately, ice powers aren't a real thing, so you can't be born with them or actually develop them. But you can have lots of fun pretending that you do.
Well, that just ruined this whole thing for me.
Oh, and they do actually specifically say it. Someone asked, can I still do this if I'm a boy? And they're like, yeah, you can do all the same things.
Wait a minute. Can I still put my hands in cold water so people ask why I have cold hands if I'm a boy?
No,
Nah,
that's only
that's
for
ridiculous.
girls, you fool.
Yeah. Boys can't do that. Pfft, that's crazy. Well, okay, this is a good transition to my third life plan.
Okay.
It's called get ice powers, live in castle.
Oh, that's a good plan. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
How's the resources for that one?
Well, I do have ice, but I don't have a castle.
Oh,
So
oh,
about
okay.
50%.
All right. It's coming along.
But no, what's okay? What's your one?
So my third one, you remember how you were saying that coming up with experiments and doing them and then analyzing the stuff, that would be hella boring?
Yes.
That sounds fantastic.
Ooh,
If there was like no money was an option, I could do whatever the hell I want.
money's not an option. Oh no.
I feel I keep on saying that. You get the point. If
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could just do whatever, I think something that would really match my personality, both like just liking to chill and think about things for long periods of time
yeah.
and just liking to learn stuff, it would probably be sick to be like a university professor.
Ah, okay. And that could honestly follow it as a natural progression, like some sort of educator or lecturer or something from both of the first two plans as well.
That is very true, actually, yeah.
Because I mean, to be a lecturer, professor, or whatever, like the main thing is you just need to be really good at one specific thing.
I mean, the end goal, I guess they're saying professor would be some combination of probably research and teaching. All of it sounds pretty sick, and that it would
Okay,
fit me. Like all of the process of like coming up with experiments and analyzing it sounds fairly like creative and curious. So it fits all my signature strengths. And also
that's
the
true.
teaching and going to conferences and talking about all your things, that is right up the alley of the public speaking, which I quite enjoy as well. And I've got some experience with coaching, which I figured will translate a little bit to teaching people or marking or whatnot.
That's a pretty good idea to use your signature strengths to do this. I didn't think about that, so sadly, I did not use that at all. But I mean, I feel like that would make a lot of sense.
I mean, what you were saying about going and transitioning from the other things does make sense. Where I went with this was going and doing a degree after my diploma
Okay,
and then moving through the steps like master's, PhD, doing like postdoc, all sorts of research shit. And just throughout it, just trying to work in research as much as possible.
I mean, yeah, most professors that's like their first thing is like research and their own
Mhm.
work, and then they lecture like
Yeah.
mostly so that they can have money to research.
Yeah, that's what I figured too. Like it all sounds fun, but I wouldn't want to do just lecturing, I think, or just
Yeah,
teaching.
I don't think anybody really does.
There are some people who do just lecture.
Huh, interesting.
People who are just lecture profs, and there's also just like high school teachers. Those people just lecture.
That
They
is
don't
well,
do
that is all
research.
teachers pretty much.
That is all teachers, yeah. Not all professors.
Okay, I could see you doing that. I could see being a teacher, honest, or a professor, or a teacher, whichever.
Yeah, I feel like that would be good.
Because yeah, it does combine the public speaking and yeah, and the subject could be one of the first two things.
It could very
Um,
well be.
like it could be like for the first one that could go into like media design or something like that. You could teach that, and the second one could just be any sort of computer science.
That is very true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it the computer science one. Cuz like I don't know if the topic in itself would be interesting enough for me to like pursue all the time.
That is fair. Well, I feel like actually, how can you research computer science?
I don't know, but people do.
Huh.
Computer science departments churn out like some of the most papers of any of the departments.
Holy, I guess just finding new ways to code stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hmm.
But yeah, it would just be some kind of topic that I find extremely interesting. And then I figured I'd probably bounce around a bunch between different research projects and whatnot over the years.
Okay. So what was that called again?
Oh, I never actually said it.
Oh,
It was going deep with academia, big schooling.
that is six words.
That it is.
And my six-word title is super chill but good job plan.
Oh,
I think it'd be pretty cool to just like work at like some sort of national park and be like a park ranger or something.
See, I was going to bring that up when you mentioned your second one. Is like I feel like you would be great as one of those like Adirondack guides or something.
Ha! I brought it back around. I said the other things would be too similar, but no, it doesn't matter. This is pretty similar, but that's fine.
I think it's
Yeah, being
different.
some sort of like guide or something like that, or just working in some sort of uh like nature reserve area would be super tight, and I think it would be a great time. Well, the only reason I guess that's not my first one is because I think it would be doing good work, and it would be fulfilling, I think. But like I would want to have a greater impact on the world as a whole, I
Hmm.
think, than that would do. So that's sort of why it's not my
Hmm.
first plan.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, that would still involve finishing the degree, and then I would have to one place I think, or I could like break into the like get some experience in that specific area is have you ever heard of those? I think we talked about these before. Those jobs as fire lookouts.
No, I don't think we have talked about them.
Well, it's, okay, it's really interesting. This wouldn't be my. This would be like a foot in the door job. So like I do this, and then I can move into something more like interesting.
Okay.
But what this is for. I think you work for 4 days and you're off for 5 days or something like that.
Okay.
But what you do is you just live for those 4 days in like a watchtower on top of a mountain that has a view of like the whole land all around you for like many kilometers, and you just live up there usually alone, and read the wind speed and use binoculars to like take measure conditions and stuff, and then use a radio to report them to somebody, and then you just sort of that's what you do, and then if you see a fire you just call it in and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's so that I obviously wouldn't want to do that forever because that sounds like that has the potential to be really boring. But at the same time, can you imagine how serene that would be?
That would. Yeah. That
Yeah.
not bad.
Literally
Honestly.
just living in like a shack on top of a mountain.
That sounds like a hell of a summer job right there.
Honestly, yeah, I've thought about it sometimes.
Shit, yeah, not bad. That's something you can just like go and do.
Yeah. The only thing is like the schedule is 100% fixed.
Okay,
Like you
yeah.
can't take days off if you're scheduled to work because it's like it's just how apparently you just can't, like that's just how they swing it. So like
Okay.
if something if it's day 2 out of 4, or I think it's more days, but whatever. If you're like only halfway through your stint up on the mountain and something comes up, you just pretty much have to stay there unless it's like extreme. Like
Fair
I watched
enough.
this video of a dude whose job it is, and he's like, "Yeah, I missed like a friend's wedding and stuff because I was doing." Let's go through the I guess the dashboard. So first is resources.
Yeah. So for mine, I put that as a 65, I'll say.
Okay.
I feel like I'm most of the way there. I have most of the resources. The main concern is just like paying to go to school for another 4 years and then getting through further
Yeah.
grad school. It's like the
Yeah,
finances are somewhat of a concern. But
mhm,
then I figure
that'd be
in
expensive.
all other ways, I should be able to get through it, like find the contacts, have the time, all that stuff.
Mhm,
Yeah.
okay. I'll say for resources, I'll say 75%
Okay.
because I think my degree actually would be applicable to like
Yeah.
being some sort of like park guide or something like that. Um, money, it wouldn't need any money. I would just graduate and then apply to this job. The only thing is I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have any contacts at all,
Mm.
so that's why I would do one of those foot in the door jobs. So like I could see sort of how it would go. So now likability.
I put my likability here at 100.
Really? Holy.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like it. Because again, it plays into my strengths.
I mean, yeah, with this, it can come from any of the first two that if you just transition towards.
That's the thing, too. They could all transition to each other in a lot of ways. Because one of the things with like content creation, one of the worries I have is that I'm not like interested or educated enough to do stuff. Like I'm not qualified in any ways.
Huh.
So going and getting a bunch of qualifications might make like content more interesting.
And I mean, life is long, so people have had at least 3 different careers in their life, so
Yeah, I don't feel like I'd be able to do one career forever, to be honest.
makes sense. You gotta keep your brain sharp. And I'll say for likability for this, I'll say 80%. It's not as high as my first plan because like I think the actual thing itself I would enjoy, but I
Mhm.
would just want to contribute to the world around me more than that would involve. Now, confidence.
I feel like I'm going to put this one at like an 80. I feel like I
Oh,
could do
okay.
it. I could make it work.
I could see you doing it. And I'll say confidence. I'll say 80 as well because like I feel like I know how to do it pretty much. I feel like I would have the qualifications. It's a little uncertain, but
Like coherence. I might put this one at like 85.
because you know the exact steps pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I know the steps so much better than the other plans because I've just been in school forever. This is like the stuff I know.
I'll say for coherence, I'll say 75%. Or I'll say 80% actually. Because like I know like yeah, which jobs I would start with and what I would transition to. That's interesting that your third one you actually had the most likability for.
Yeah, I know. I think it's just that idea of if there was no like judgment and whatnot, what would you do? And I'm like, huh, okay. I just leaned into the signature strengths that we were looking at. And I was like, okay, something where I can learn stuff, something where I can be curious and explore ideas, where I can be kind of creative. I forget what the other ones. I'm sure I can work humor in there somehow.
Oh yeah,
Undergraduate students love jokes in
they actually
lectures,
do.
so that's true.
And
Yeah,
probably grad students too.
probably. If they're not too sad,
They might be a bit strange.
possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if I do this one.
I mean, I hope I would know.
That's
You're
true.
like, Evan, I just got my PhD. Damn, I didn't even know you were back in school.
Yeah, you have to wait for the big reveal and then we can do it on the podcast.
I've been in school this whole past 8 years.
At least, yeah.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people do. I feel like there's like 2 waves of school. Like there's like between like 17 and 24 is
Mhm.
like your first school. But then I feel like a lot of people in their like 30s or 40s realize that they want to know more, get more qualifications or whatever, and so they go back. So maybe that's what you do. Maybe you'll do one and or two, and then in your 30s or 40s, do number three.
Quite possibly, yeah. Honestly, probably. That's the whole frustrating thing about like making any kind of or most long-term career plans is that I know my interests change and that I want to do other things as long as it continues to be good.
Well, actually, I was thinking with your last one, that's you've broken the rules a bit because that's not a 5-year plan.
You're right. In the 5-year plan, I just did like do another undergraduate, but it was like, and the title is going deep with academia. So like actually doing an undergraduate this time.
Yeah, and then like that's like why you do it because you would continue.
Yeah, that's the reasoning.
I'll allow
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
it.
Thanks, boss.
You're welcome, Chief. Okay, so in our 6 and a 10th year anniversary podcast, we'll reveal which of these plans, probably none of them exactly,
Oh,
but like
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, which ones we've been most closely following. We definitely need to re-listen to this one before we do it because we'll definitely forget.
Most definitely. Yeah.
But everybody, stay tuned for at least the next 5 years if you want to see where this story goes
You'll find out what happens next in about 5 years' time.
in the saga. Next chapter, five
I mean,
years
we
from
might talk about the stuff in the interim
now. Nah,
in our podcast about our lives
nah, not allowed.
and life design.
Spoilers. Maybe you can include the life planning document that you sent me in the show notes, so that if anybody
Yeah.
was interested, they can sort of make 3 plans for themselves. Because especially for you sort of surprised yourself. You were like, Wait a minute, this one actually sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, I know. The more I mull it over in my head, the more I like it.
Yeah.
So definitely try this out for yourselves, folks. It's an
Uh-huh.
interesting activity. And
I
again,
mean,
like I was saying at the beginning, if you do more than 3, you might come up with some even weirder, cooler ideas.
more just out there where you're like, yeah, that is an option, I guess.
It's like if you have to put this exact like number of ideas on the table, what do you got? And
Okay.
eventually you just come up with more interesting things.
So this is life design.
Yeah, there you go.
And I guess till next week.
Till next time.
Goodbye.
Catch you in the next one, folks.
Ooh, is that like a tagline now?
I guess it is, yeah.
Let's make it happen.